TMF Extra.
Ja, we krijgen al nogal wat namen voorbij hier natuurlijk in de TMF-studio. Maar soms krijgen we ook weer de echt gevestigde mensen die al heel lang bezig zijn, heel veel succes hebben gehad. En vandaag hebben we zo iemand, want naast mij zit niemand minder dan Kylie Minogue. Hi Kylie, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Welcome in Holland.
Thank you.
Do you remember the last time that you were
All
here?
I know is it was a long time ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, we're happy that you're back.
Thank you.
I want to talk with you about the new album and about the new single, of course, Spinning Around. It's doing really well.
It's doing really well. I was very surprised that it took off the way it did, so I'm a happy girl.
Yes. Yeah. You sing in that song, you sing, I found a new direction and it leads right back to me.
Yeah.
Is that what this album is about? Could you say it?
Funnily enough, yeah. I mean, I didn't write Spinning Around, so it's just another thing that's been in sync about this album. Yeah, I think in the last few years I've had a few different experiences and learnt that this is what I do best. I'm happy to go and do other things, to do other projects like duets with other people and different things like that. But I wanted to do an album that was very much disco pop. A little bit like a sense of what I did way back in the beginning, but making it very new and fresh and working with some great producers.
Okay.
And lots of disco reference.
Yeah, and there was a great video with it too, and showing a really sexy Kylie. Did you really choose for that?
I don't think any of us imagined the video would turn out to be quite that sexy, if you like.
Okay, I have the album here. It's not the final one because it hasn't been mixed yet.
No, looks very boring, doesn't it?
It looks very boring, but the others will come. And I want to, maybe could go through the songs and give a little reaction on them. Okay, we'll start Spinning Around. You already said something. Who wrote the song?
Well, I believe we're going to do a competition later, so I actually don't want to tell you who wrote the song.
Okay.
There's four writers, and one of them is an 80s pop diva.
Okay,
we'll talk about that later.
That secret.
But the song was found as a demo track in New York. One of my A&R guys went over there to do some business, or at least he said it was business, he's probably playing, and came back waving this CD around saying, you've got to listen to this. It's a song called Spinning Around. I think it'll be great for the album. So that's how that ended up on there.
Yeah, did you choose it to be the first single, or is it the record company?
There was a lot of discussions back and forwards as to which song should be the first single, and that's the one that we ended up all agreeing on.
Okay.
You
know. Okay.
It wasn't that easy.
No, I can't imagine.
But I think it was a very good decision.
Did you record the album partly in Britain too? And
most of it was done in London, or in and around London.
Yes.
3 tracks were done in Dublin, which was really nice, and a couple of them were done in LA.
Okay.
So it's not too spread out. And it was all done very quickly. I mean, efficiently, I should say. It took just less than a year to make the album, which I think is pretty good considering I hadn't worked with these people before.
Yeah, you had
Most of them anyway.
to get to know them all.
Yeah.
Okay, Butterfly.
Butterfly was written by myself and Steve Anderson and produced by Mark Picchiotti, who's based in Chicago. That's one of the ones I did in LA. And he is more known for his remixes, like his club mixes, and he DJs. And anyway, that's one we did there. And when we were recording that, Bette Midler was in the studio just down the hallway. So the two of us were getting very excited, going, it's a Bette Midler.
So did you chance to meet her?
Yeah, I did. I went in to see her afterwards, and I was a little bit shy because you're never sure if you should walk into someone's studio or not. They might not like anyone in there. But she was just ace, and she was recording. She'd been on tour and she was recording an album with her band, recording it all together. I mean, that doesn't happen very often in the studio. And so when I went into the control room, she had her back to me and was in the middle of this song, so I was just listening. Because I just, you know, she's one of the original divas, you know. And then, but she was wearing this hat with a spinning thing on the top. So she's singing this beautiful song that my eyes were welling up, and she's got this kooky hat on, which says it all, I suppose.
Okay, Disco Down.
That's written by Johnny Douglas, who produced the track, and he's worked with, well, a lot of people, but namely George Michael and the All Saints. And he's lovely. And you'll never see this, but I send out a hi to Johnny Douglas.
Oh, really?
That was recorded in London. And there's a couple of other tracks he did as well.
Because on your previous album, you wrote all of the lyrics, didn't you?
Yeah, I think maybe aside from 1 or 2 songs. Probably 3/4 of this album.
You did too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I find to be enjoyable. I like it. The writing process is fun.
Yeah. Did you see a development in yourself with writing?
I've actually always found it quite easy to do. I don't play an instrument, so I just come in and do the melody and the lyrics.
Yes.
And I don't know, I just
Never
find
had a hard time?
No, not really. I mean, it's just, I'm working with great people, so I'm sure if it was rubbish, they'd say, actually, there is a song on there called Cuckoo. And no one really liked the chorus, and I was determined to have this song on the album, so I had to. That was one that took a little bit of time. I eventually.
What does that mean, Cuckoo?
I don't really know. It's from an old Beatles song, My Cuckoo. Anyone know what Cuckoo means? I guess it's like my sweetheart or something. Anyway,
You just
that's
saw
the
that
way I
word
interpret it.
And you wanted
Just like
to
the word.
write about it.
Yeah, my cuckoo.
Okay, okay. So now Goodbye, that's number 6 on the album.
It's very much like Gloria Gaynor, I Will Survive kind of thing. It's very disco.
Yeah, it's also written by you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So Cuckoo, we already talked about that, and Bittersweet Goodbye, that's a different song on the album.
Yeah, it's the only ballad.
Yes.
And it just managed to sneak on the album at the last minute, even though it was one of the first ones that I'd written. And that was written with Steve Anderson as well. And he created this piece of music, and we both loved it. And this is the way he and I work a lot. He'll just say, here you go, take that away. And I just know from his expression that he knows that I love it, and sure enough, I loved it. And I actually took my time doing the lyrics for that, because there's not so many lyrics, which I think makes it more difficult. You have to be sure what you're saying. Yeah. And I think it's really pretty. There's a beautiful string section on that.
Yeah, and because you liked it so much, it could make it on a disco album because of the other songs. So
yeah, it's
so disco-like.
It's the only different, it's the standout track. But I think it's so pretty, it needs to be on there.
Okay, okay. Love Boat?
Love Boat was written by Robbie Williams, his partner Guy Chambers, and myself. And we'd been in the studio, he'd written another song for me, which might be the next one.
Is that Your Disco Needs You?
Yeah, that is the next one, Your Disco Needs You. So we more or less did those at the same time. We did Your Disco Needs You, and then I said, I'd really like a song called Love Boat. So we did a song called Love Boat.
Because it's not on it, but you also did a duet with Robbie Williams called Kids.
Yeah, actually it will be on there. It's just not on that one because it's getting the final mixes. That's a great track. And
because I tried to do an interview with this guy, and it didn't work. So I was wondering, how could you manage to work with this man?
Maybe he was just feeling particularly cheeky that day.
Yes, I think he did.
I get along fine with Robbie. Yeah. I think he just has his moments, and and that's endearing. That's his nature. He will, he always cause a bit of trouble, I suppose, if he can. But I find it quite charming.
Okay, were you already a fan of Robbie Williams
when
you asked him to co-write with you?
Yeah, very much. And I just having watched his progress from way back in Take That, and he was the first one to leave, and then he went through all his personal dramas, and then to be winning Songwriter of the Year awards and selling millions and millions of albums, I just think it's a brilliant story, and he is the ultimate showman at the moment. He just has it. He's charismatic.
An entertainer.
Yeah, and yes, I was a fan anyway, and I met him a long time ago, but I've only just got to know him a little bit more doing these things in the studio. Yeah.
Okay, because
but he was pretty well behaved with me.
Oh, really? Really? That's something new.
I think so.
Okay, so because I read your bio and I saw all these hits that you had, because the first 13 releases you had were all number 10 hits in England. Yeah. That must be great, but doesn't that put a lot of pressure on you for everything that comes after that?
Yeah, it does put a little pressure. I actually, you know, I don't look back too much. I'm much more interested in the future. And I couldn't tell you how many #1s I've had or how many records I've sold or anything like that. It's not...
Not something that you
doesn't really
keep in mind when you write
proud
something.
of it, and you know, I'm glad for that success, but I don't need to store that information. I'll just go forward. Yeah.
No.
So in that respect, it wasn't too much of a pressure, but I was aware of it.
Okay. Okay, I'm So High. It's number 11.
It's another track by Guy Chambers, who's Robbie's partner, and he had written that. I'm not sure how long before we worked on the album, but it was one of his demos, and I just adapted the lyrics to be a story that made sense to me, and I think it's a really nice song. It's very much a, you know, put the roof down, drive along, sunny day song.
Because is there a favorite on this album for you?
It's whenever I'm asked that question, I always say depends which day you ask me. You know, depending on my mood, it might be.
And it will be different maybe when performing the songs.
But there is the one Cuckoo that is just, I just like it because it's like a go-go party on the beach or something. It's just fun, and it's probably one that wouldn't be a single. So the ones that are singles you hear.
You hear
So many times.
Yes.
Yeah.
From something completely different now. There's a rumor going on that you saw Jason Donovan like a few weeks ago for the first time after.
So I see an old friend in a cafe, and suddenly the whole world knows about it. Yeah, it was a surprise. He was doing an interview. I had to interrupt this interview.
Oh, really?
Excuse me.
You just saw him, or you arranged him?
Well, I wouldn't have seen him because I wouldn't have gone through the cafe where he was doing it. But my driver for the day had said, just to let you know, Jason's in there if you want to say hi. So it was nice to see him. I haven't seen him since he's become a daddy. So
that's a long time ago for you?
Well, yeah, maybe I saw him Christmas time in Australia.
Oh, okay.
Which is when we normally bump into each other somewhere in Bondi.
Yeah, because do you live in Australia right now?
No, I live in London.
You live in London.
But most Australians tend to just
pretend that you're...
Get home for Christmas and New Year's and have a summer.
Yeah.
Get away
yeah,
from
that's
this
better than
cold
here.
climate, yeah.
Yeah, so you spend time there regularly in Australia?
Yeah.
Okay, okay, because of course we know Jason too from acting and you too, because you started your career with acting. You also did a Shakespeare production last year. Yeah. How was that?
It was amazing.
The Tempest, I believe
really,
it was.
It came from nowhere, this request. As it turns out, this crazy little director who's an absolute maniac, but I just love him. He's just a ball of energy and enthusiasm, and you couldn't stop this guy if you tried. So the request came in, would I like to play the part of Miranda in The Tempest in Barbados? With all these RSC actors, the Royal Shakespeare Company actors. Oh, okay. So thinking, I spoke with the director, and I've never done, well, prior to that, I'd never done theatre, I'd never done Shakespeare, and I'd never been to Barbados. So of course I'm interested. That's, you know, they're the kind of things that excite me. And I spoke with the director and I said, to be honest, I just want to make sure that everyone's going to be cool. I don't want these RSC actors kind of looking down their nose going, she was in some soap, wasn't she? I was like, oh, neighbours, yeah. He said, don't worry, they were really cool. And
how did it turn out to be?
It was great.
Yes.
Absolutely, I learnt so much. It was a thrill to be doing that kind of performing. You know, I hadn't done it before, and was performed outside, and there was bougainvillea trees everywhere, and the stars and the moonlight. It was perfect for The Tempest as well. So that was a good experience. And I actually thought, no one's going to see it. It's in Barbados in someone's backyard. And as it turned out, one time we were having breakfast before rehearsals, and one of the actors walked in, and he was very much like Neil from The Young Ones, and he said, guys, I've got really bad news. And we all go, what? And he said, CNN are covering the play. Really? No, quick.
Hard.
Practice, rehearse. So, yeah, CNN covered it, the Times reviewed it, it turned, you know, it
turned out to be a big thing.
Yeah, and we all got pretty good reviews, so it was a nice a nice way to ease me into that kind of...
Yeah, what did you learn from it sort of, as an actress to do that play?
Well, everything that I experienced there was just, it was beautiful.
What would you say was the main difference between theatre and making films?
You can't have a take two.
You can't.
If you mess it up, that's it. Yeah, it was really very exciting. And it was a lot like a holiday as well. My God, it sounds like everything I do is a
Your
holiday.
life is a big holiday.
It's not. But we would rehearse in the morning, and then, of course, by 12:30, 1 o'clock,
It's
too hot. So I'll see you down the beach. Okay, we'll start rehearsing again at whatever, 5 o'clock. It was a great experience. I made some really nice friends, and I had 2 weeks there. So.
Okay, that's good. You also released a book, which we have here, last year, October.
Yeah.
It's all, maybe you could explain what it's about.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to have a short explanation, but I'll do my best. It's a pictorial retrospective of my career. It's not a biography at all. It's more a look at the media manifestation of a person. You know, a lot of people's perception of me is through different forms of media, so a lot of that might not actually be my life. So we've got historical images in there, and we also have contributions from all kinds of people: musicians, writers, poets, painters, photographers. Just they had a page and were free to do whatever they wanted. These are your dimensions. It's on this kind of paper. Kylie, what do you think? And so it was kind of a...
Wasn't that scary for you?
Yeah.
To see what those people would do with it?
I don't quite know why I put myself through it, but I just thought it would be interesting. So it's more like a pop art book. There is no answer at the end of it. You go through everything and you're probably more confused than when you started. But I just think it shows that everyone has such a different view. You know, some, like, you know, I've been in cabs in London and they say, oh, you're not in that show Neighbours anymore, no. Yeah, when did you leave that? Oh, it was a long time ago, actually.
Someone else. Some other things.
Yeah, other people will... The first image that comes to mind will be Nick Cave duet, or, you know, could be anything. Could be the Henny's campaign, or I don't know, but... I'm not quite ready to do an autobiography. What would you do after you did South Australia? Well, I have to do the family thing, try and catch up with everybody, and I'd also like to just do a bit of travel. Australia is such a big country, and I haven't, a lot of it I haven't seen, so I'd like to. I don't know if it's part of getting older, but I just have an ever-increasing desire to get to know my country more. Okay. Well, that's a good point to work to. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for now. Can we see you back in Holland when there's going to be a tour? Are you coming to Holland too? Of course. You're not sure, I am. Well, I'm not sure of anything. I mean, I say I'd love to tour. Yeah. The logistics of sorting it out, nothing's been planned, and I think the feeling I'm getting from this album so far is so positive that I'm sure I'll be trying to go to as many countries as I can. Okay. So I'll see you then. Well, hope to see you then. Get your glad rags on. Okay, before you go, we'd love to, we have 2 examples of the book, Kylie, here, and we'd love to give them away to the true fans. Did we mention it's very big and heavy? It's very big and heavy. Oh, and there was one picture in particular I really liked, and I wanted to show the viewers just één van de plaatjes die erin staan. Er staan veel meer hele mooie plaatjes in. Is there one that you like in particular that's in this? I do. God, there's some. This is waxwork, by the way.
Yeah,
if anyone...
I saw that because I saw maybe your teeth, but it's just the wax doll.
Because it looks like Chucky, you know that movie with it.
Oh yeah, yeah, the doll.
It's very scary. There's ones that I like that are really pretty crappy. Let me get like really old ones that years ago I would have tried desperately to hide. Oh really? Actually, that's one that's very special to me. It's a little boy I met who unfortunately passed away a few years ago, but he just made such an impression on me, and I can see in my face that nothing else matters at that moment. It was just, he was the coolest little kid.
It's a nice picture.
Sorry, bear with me.
Yeah, is that a process?
One's like this.
Yeah, is that in the
Now,
process
is
of getting
this-
older that you don't mind?
Yeah, so long ago I've learned to accept my my
an
major
old
fashion faux pas. Things like that's Nigel Kennedy's fiddle, or the violin. I'm not sure the correct terminology, but he called it Kylie, and
He called it Kylie?
It's priceless, this thing, and it's all explained in the back. You
Okay,
get
so
the,
special pictures and stories and...
it just keeps going on and on.
Okay, well, perfect. Let's think of a question then. Do you have a question?
Well-
for the true fans to...
Relating back to my album, and
Yes.
more specifically the first single, Spinning Around, it's has 4 writers attributed, that the song's attributed to. One of them is a famous late 80s pop diva who danced a lot. Who is that woman? Oké, dus als jij weet, maybe you could sign those Yeah,
too.
sure.
Als jij dus weet wie daaraan heeft meegeschreven, welke bekende vrouwelijke artiest uit de jaren 80 die ook nog eens heel veel heeft gedanst, dan moet je het ons even zeker laten weten. En het adres is natuurlijk gewoon TMF, postbus 969 1400 AZ in Bussum. En misschien maak jij dan kans op een van deze 2 boeken en natuurlijk de nieuwe single Spinning
I'm so
Around.
glad I didn't have to say that.
Yeah.
Can you just say the address?
Can you say anything in Dutch?
Not a thing.
Oh, that's okay. Just sing and we're happy. Thank you very much for being here.
My pleasure.
Enjoy your stay in Holland. And hope
you.
to see you in the future performing here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Kylie Minogue.
TMF Extra.